Unfortunately, it wasn't as good as it was when I last went.
Less than $300 to go before we hit the 100K. Hello and welcome to Stansted Airport. So we're going to Scotland for I guess you can call it a job. Got some work to carry out there. It's early in the morning at the moment, just coming up to 8 o'clock. And we need to get onto our fly up there. Right here is about 10 degrees, which is relatively warm for this time of year. But out there in Scotland, it's about -1. So the temperature difference is crazy. And I'm not really looking forward to that. But you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, we made it to the gate. And for some reason, the gate got only announced 10 minutes before the gate closes, which is weird. Anyway, I guess that's how it works for EasyJet. So we're flying out, flying back today, and it's going to be quite a long day. I'm hoping that the time we've got up there, we're going to be able to get everything done. There's a lot to get done, a lot of shooting to do, and once we've done all of that, then the editing begins, the post-processing begins, which is going to take a lot longer. So this is an exciting new project that I'm working on. Looking forward to it. But the only thing I'm not looking forward to is how cold it's going to be over there. Right now I've got my jacket off because it's warm in here, but I know up there it's not going to be. So that's why I bought a thick jacket. So let's see how it goes. On we go. I haven't been in one of these in a while. So, hour's flight, not even that long. Okay, welcome to Glasgow Airport. I'm sitting here at the moment waiting because we finished everything that we needed to do, and we're about 3 hours early. So we decided to just come and sit here, get something to eat, and then we can see some of the footage that I shot, which I'm about to do in a second, to make sure that we got all the stuff that we need. Well, it's a bit late now, I can't exactly go back and shoot more. But I just wanted to run through the footage, copy everything onto the hard drive to make sure I have a backup. Always good to have a backup. There is a lot to unpack, quite literally. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to film much because it's not something that is allowed to be done technically. I'm probably one of the very, very, very few people that has actually been allowed access to the place to shoot what we need to shoot. So I guess you could call it in some respect, it's a form of a secret. I don't know if you want to call it that, but let's just call it that. So I am one of the very few external individuals who's able to get access and shoot the content that we need. But that's because I have a good relationship. Hello and welcome to Ray London. We're back. If you remember yesterday, I said when we were at Stansted, I said it's relatively warm. Even last week in my vlog, I said it's relatively warm. Guess what? Today we had snow. Typical. This is what you say, typical English weather, right? All right, so you find me in familiar surroundings. I do have a bit of a blocked nose, so please excuse that. We are going to an event that I went to last year. And this event, I don't know where I am actually right now. Okay, we have to go back up that way. Yes, we have to go back up this way. Let's go. I did the same shit last year where I crossed the road at this exact spot. Let's go. So we're going to the same event as we did last year, but this year is going to be a little bit different because we are meeting different people. The whole purpose that I'm doing these events is because I'm trying to build relationships with new partners, entities in the financial space. Because if you haven't figured out by now, by watching these vlogs, that we are working on something in the financial space. So having the right people involved, having the right entities to ensure that we can carry out all of our service correctly is super important, especially at the stage that we're at. So therefore, meeting these people at events like this is always going to be an important factor, and it's going to be important to do as early on as possible because things like this take time. Plus, you meet new people that you didn't expect to meet, and they have their own protocols and possibilities that you can work with them on, potentially. But you won't know until you are here. So, we are here. Let's get in there and I will show you around. Maybe you can see some of the conversations. Some of these conversations have to be kept under wraps for obvious reasons. Because as much as I like to show you guys aspects of what we're doing, I can't show you everything of what we're doing. That would not really make sense. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, let's get in there. I'm gonna put the camera away because it's raining. And I'll show you the rest when we get in. First of all, looking the part in events or any event is really important. And most people overlook that, which is, well, in my opinion, when it comes to business, it's not a good idea. Because first impressions definitely count. Like I've been to a couple of events where the attendees have thought I am the organizer of the event, which is really weird, but because I was presenting myself in a way that sort of indicates that I'm a person or whatever, right? So the whole idea is hopefully we can speak to some of the people that we spoke to last time, re-establish a fresh sort of take on this year moving forward, or 2025 taking forward, and see what new opportunities we can find with some new individuals and businesses. Yeah. Do you need licenses from MT4, MT5, C Trader?
Well, the broker that works with us needs a license.
They will need a license.
Is that the main thing?
That's the main thing at the moment, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, so once all of that is out of the way, then we can slowly start to unveil the bigger picture of what we're doing.
Got it.
Because that in itself is going to take so much time.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
Yeah.
The main principle behind that is because we're creating everything from scratch, that includes the whole content side of things. Clearly, we are not at the event anymore because we finished. Unfortunately, it wasn't as good as it was when I last went for two reasons. One, because there was less exhibitors than there were last year, and the exhibitors that were there, I've already spoken to them. However, I reconnected with a couple of them, as you saw already. I didn't feel like there was any more reason for me to be there because the people that I really wanted to speak to, for some reason, didn't turn up. So, we're going to have to just communicate further via email and Zoom calls until maybe we can set up another meeting somewhere in London, or I may need to fly out and have a meeting elsewhere, wherever that is. So for the meantime, I'm going to finish off some lunch because it is 4:30 in the afternoon and I haven't eaten yet. So we're going to wrap up on some food, and I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning, being Wednesday. it's Thursday, you haven't seen any content from Wednesday. And that is because I didn't film anything on Wednesday. Yesterday I wasn't feeling too good. Didn't actually really feel like picking up the camera to shoot any content. But essentially, yesterday was just sort of like an admin day. Taking care of a lot of emails, chase-ups, logging information, as I've previously mentioned. So that took up a lot of time yesterday to get done. Today's schedule is a little bit similar. I had a meeting this morning to talk about certain parts of our development and the progress so far with that. So that's one thing checked out of the way. And the rest of the day today, we're going to follow up on more emails, more communication. One of those days, one of those weeks. So we've now had a few days of intense outdoor activity. That does drain you. You will notice that I'm wearing a scarf and I'm wearing a jumper and a hoodie. It's freezing. Definitely need to get out of this country and go somewhere warmer. So soon, inshallah, that's happening. Hello and good morning to Friday. Ladies and gents, we are almost at the end of November, which means we only have like 5 weeks to go before the end of the year, which is crazy to think how fast this year's gone by. Anyway, today's a busy day. I got a meeting to do in about 5 minutes. Once that meeting's out of the way, I have some rearranging to do in terms of my setup because I spend a lot of time sitting there at the desk. So we're going to make some changes to make that experience a little bit more comfortable because it does get tiring just sitting there. But then obviously you need to stand and do all the, look after your health essentially. Let's get the day going. Working with or trying to work with investors at any stage is very difficult or can be very challenging. And the challenges that it can present is anything from the very basic stuff, identity verification, KYC essentially, or it could be extremely difficult getting to the level of anti-money laundering checks, dealing with certain high-level entities that you have to sort of try and work with. They can be difficult, especially if they are not within your jurisdiction. For example, if they are, let's say you live in the US and you've got to deal with the entities in the UK, right? As an example, it can be very difficult. Or it can be extremely simple, depending on who you know. Remember, as they say, it's not what you know, it's who you know, right? But even who you know can be somewhat challenging because that who you know could be the complete opposite of who you actually need, okay? Because people are trying to make money out here. Either way, they provide a service to you, they're trying to make money one way or another. However, it doesn't matter what you do, your purpose behind the goals that you are setting should always be, I'm gonna get this done no matter what. Nothing's gonna get in my way. I'm going to achieve this. But the difficult part is actually having a goal to start with, which most people don't have. Well, they think they do, but it's like a very base level goal. Now, the reason why it's a very base level goal is because you don't feel like you are worthy enough of achieving more. That's the problem. The problem is not actually the goal itself. The problem is your mindset and your attitude towards that goal that you're trying to not set, right? You can achieve whatever you want. You just got to set your goal high enough. Going back to what I was saying about investors, that is another thing. So if you are working with investors and you think that you can't achieve a certain level of investor or certain figure from investors, that's because you're putting a block in front of yourself. It's not them doing it, it's you doing it. If you want a higher number, you got to show that you are deserving of a higher number. If you're after, 100,000, you're gonna set yourself up for 100,000. If you're after 10 million in terms of investment, you got to set yourself up as a 10 million business, $10 million, pounds, whatever it is, right? Whatever your currency is, you got to show that your business is worth that amount in order to receive that amount, or whatever your valuation or what your market cap is going to be, whatever, in the next 5 years, in the next 3 years. You got to be able to show that with reason, with good proof behind as to why you have come up with these numbers. So all these things are actually very important regardless of what kind of business you're running, right? Especially when it comes to financing, especially when it comes to funding, when it comes to investments. There are so many different protocols that need to be followed. If you don't have your attitude and your mind right from the beginning, you can forget it because it's just not gonna work. So don't go after investments, don't go after funding, don't go after, hey, can I borrow this money? Before you do any of that, you got to get your business foundation right. You got to get your goals right. You got to get your inner
being right, okay? Because without that, you got to get your mindset right. You got to have your goals that are ridiculously high, because they have to be. Why would they not be? You got to set your goals so high that people just laugh at you. Why are you setting your goals that high? That's when you know you're doing the right thing, okay? And if it doesn't work, at the end of all of that, at least you tried. Because what would happen if you didn't try? All right, check this out. This is Bitcoin right here. Right? You guys see that? Bitcoin. And we are almost so close to 100,000. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. And when you look at this chart right here, and you look at it on a daily time frame, you'll see how much this thing has actually been taken off. Absolutely parabolic moves going on here. Right, and I'm going to go to the weekly time frame right now. Look at the weekly time frame. Look at the weekly time frame right there. Nuts. 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 weeks. 4 weeks, a whole month. Just straight up movements. Crazy stuff. Not far off 100k, and I think we might have a bit of a rejection there, because it's a pretty major level. And once we've had that major break or major rejection at 100k, you might see some downward movements happening, and then I think we're still gonna climb pretty high. My prediction is $116,000 before we have a major rejection. You heard it here first. $116,000 Bitcoin is the first time I'm making a public, actually probably the second time I'm making a public prediction in the markets. So there you are. I know my reasons why I said 116,000. So that's what I'm going to say before we have a major rejection. It will go higher, but we're going to have a major rejection or major reversal, correction, whatever term you want to use, before we continue to push higher, because Bitcoin's, it's going up. Come on, baby. So close. Less than $300 to go before we hit the 100k. Okay, and on that note, I'm going to end the vlog here for this week. Still waiting for Bitcoin to hit that 100k mark. Probably going to happen at some point over the weekend. I'm pretty sure of that. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. I will see you guys in the next vlog. Make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this video. Tell me what else you guys want to see. I got a lot of stuff coming, but I want to know what you guys want to also see. So drop a comment below, and thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next week.